Greetings, brethren. Have you ever heard someone use a verse that says, "My Father is greater than I," to prove that Jesus wasn't God? Well, we'll go through and discuss, go through these verses here and discover the meaning of that verse. And so we'll start with John 10:26-31. In 29, they might use this verse to prove that Jesus wasn't God. "My Father, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man able to pluck them out of my Father's hand." See, he's greater than all. That means he's greater than Jesus. What was the context? "But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. As I said unto you, my sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them in me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one." Then the Jews took to stone him again, to stones again to stone him. Greater than all. Well, what is all there? Man that is trying to pluck you out of Jesus' hand and the Father's hand. He's greater than all. Well, when we come to John 14:26 is where it says, "My Father is greater than I. Ye have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If you loved me, you will rejoice, because I said I go unto my Father, and my Father is greater than I." Well, what is this greater than I? Well, Jesus is human after all. Not only human, but he's God. But in this sense, this context, that he's the Father's greater in his status and glory, because when Jesus humbled himself to take upon the form of a man, to become a servant, he put away his divine, put aside, veiled his heavenly status, his glorious status, put aside some of his glory that he had in heaven, to come as a man. But he said, "You rejoice, because I'll go to my Father. I go to my Father to become glorified, to come into my glorified body, that the Comforter will come onto you. You will rejoice, because I'll go to my Father, so that the Holy Spirit come to you." But yeah, Jesus came as a man. But why was he came as a man? That's how he's greater, because he was an actual human. He's put aside, he veiled his heavenly status, his heavenly prerogatives, to become a man. Galatians 4:4-5. "And when the fullness of time was come," so a particular time, when the fullness of time was come, "God sent forth his Son to be made of a woman, made under the law." But why? Why was he came as a man, to be made as a man, that he became a little lower than the angels? Why? To redeem them that were under the law, that he might receive the adoption as sons. We'll get to it, but the Hebrews 2, he was made a little lower than the angels, so he could taste death for every man, so he would be able to die. God cannot die, so he became a man so he could die, pay that blood atonement, pay for the sins of every man. So how we know this? So John 20:17, Jesus saith unto her, "Touch me not, for I'm not ascended to my Father." So don't cling unto me. Don't restrain me from ascending to the Father. But go to my brethren, and say unto, I send to my Father and your Father, and my God and your God. So it doesn't say our Father, but my Father, in the sense he is my Father, in the human sense, literal Father, and your Father, because he's the Father of all creation, my God, because he's human, and your God, not because Jesus had a God and he's not God, but is speaking to his humanity. He did call himself Son of Man. Son of Man was a divine title, but he was speaking to his humanity. Son of Man is Son of God. He's born of a man, of men, human, born of Mary, and born of God. So Son of Man and Son of God. Born of man, born of Mary, and born of God. So he had to ascend to obtain his glorified body, to obtain that heavenly glorification, that glorious status. They set aside some of that divine status. And we'll read this in 1 Timothy 3:16. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles. So who was preached unto the Gentiles? Oh, Father? No. Jesus was preached unto the Gentiles, and believed on in the world, and we received into glory. Touch me not, for I have not yet ascended unto my Father. He received up to glory. I ascend unto my Father. He was received up to glory. Received that glorious status, the glorious status that he had in the heavenly status, because he sat down to the right hand of the Father, ruling as the king. John 17:5. So we to have that glorious status again. John 17:5. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. So he had this glory, glorious status, or glory that he shared with the Father, which he put aside when he came into the world as a man. Now he's saying to glorify you with me, with your own self, with the glory which he shared before he came into the world and before the world existed. Well, in this context, before the world existed. But to apply that to glorify himself again with the glory that they shared before he came to earth. So Hebrews 2 is made a little lower than angels. Why? Why did he come as a man, or humbled himself, putting aside his divine prerogatives, not his divine attributes? I mean, he veiled some voluntarily to come as a man, to suffer death. So why it is he was made a little lower than angels, they humble himself. Hebrews 2:7-18. Thou madest him a little lower than angels, not that he was created, but he was made. He came as a man, lower than angels. He put aside his heavenly status. Thou crownest him with glory, so he was received up to the glory and honor, and didst set him over the work of thy hands. Thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. So he was received up to glory, sat on the right hand of God to rule with his rod and scepter, for in put on subjection under him. He left nothing that was not put under him, but now we see not yet all things put under him. We see Jesus, who was made little lower than the angels. Why? For the suffering of death, so he could taste death for every man, so he could die for that blood atonement. That's why he came as a man, or put aside some of his divine status or prerogatives. He veiled. He didn't exercise some of his divine prerogatives to come as a man, humbled himself, did not receive that status. He came as God, and they knew him not as God. Crown of glory and honor, that he be the grace of God, so he should taste death for every man. That's why he was made a man, so he could atone. And to use that example, we're fighting, we are, for example here, that Watchman D here, that some of people we know that we're discussing back and forth, and one of his views that the substitutionary atonement is false. He did not come to pay a debt, to pay a debt for the Father, or to pay a divine, to satisfy some justice, but to make us free by the power, so to make us free from sins, and we can do that by the power of the Holy Spirit. Well, that's just watering down the gospel. There was a divine justice, where a violation, a failing of upholding the law, so God made it right, able to, so we can keep the law through Jesus Christ, that Jesus Christ uphold the law and was righteous for us, to redeem us from the law. Just what we read, to redeem them that were under the law. For it became him from all things, by whom all are things, and bring many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. For both that sanctify, those who are sanctified, are all of one, for which cause is not ashamed, saying, I declare unto thy name unto my brethren, in the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee. And again I'll put my trust in him, and again, behold, I and the children which God hath gave me, for as much then as children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took the part of the same. So he take a likeness of flesh and blood. Why? That through his death, through his sacrifice, his shedding that blood, dying on the cross, through death, that he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil, to destroy sin, to deliver them that are through fear of death, where all their life is subject to bondage. For really he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on himself the nature of the seed of Abraham. Made a little lower than the angels. Came as a form of a man. Not just that he was born a man, but he was came in the likeness of man, from being in the form of God. Not just, he was just just that he came in existence as a man, and didn't exist prior. So that's what this was mean, that he put aside his divine status, heavenly status, his glory in heaven, so he could taste death for every man, to put away the works of the devil, the sins, the violation of the law, to make perfect them that are under the law, to redeem them from the law. For being the form of God, thought it not to be robbery. He is not stealing any of his divine glory or his honor from the Father, being equal with God. But then he made himself with no reputation, put him aside his divine glorious status, heavenly status in heaven, and to put him to veiling his, restricting his divine restricting from exercising his divine actions. He took upon himself form of servant. He became obedient, came as in the likeness of men, being found as a servant, being voluntarily becoming obedient unto the Father. Being found as man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. But he voluntarily came subjection to the Father. He voluntarily did that. It's not that the Father required, forced him to do so. Matthew 26:30-42. Then it cometh Jesus unto them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith unto him, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. For he went a little farther, and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me, nevertheless not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What, could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the second time, praying, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. So he's accepting this cup. He's because he is a man, he's frailty as a man. He was afraid, but he knew that that the divine will had to be done, that he had to die on the cross for all mankind, that he became obedient to the Father voluntarily. Just as when he was talking to Pontius Pilate, when he's being tried by Pontius Pilate, no man can take my life from me. That's not given from my Father to take. But I lay down my life of my own accord, and I take it up again. So he voluntarily laid down his life for his friends, for mankind, for believers. I can myself do nothing. As I hear, I judge. My judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which sent me. So he seeks his Father's will, becoming obedient. If I bear witness, so it's not saying that he's the judge, but he's saying, if I bear witness of myself, as witness is not true. There is another that beareth witness of me. I know the witness which he witnessed of me is true. So in the mouth of 2 witnesses, every word may be established. So he bear witness of his testimony, and his Father bears witness. He testifies of where he went to come, or who he is. But I receive not testimony from man. Ye sent unto John, and he bare witness unto the truth. But I receive not testimony from man. But these things I say, that ye might be saved. He was burning the shining light. Ye were willing for a season to rejoice in his light. But I have greater witness that of John, for the works which the Father hath given me me to finish the same works I do. Bear witness, they bear witness of me. The works that I do bear witness of me, that the Father has sent me. And the Father himself, which has sent me, bore witness of me. And ye have neither heard his voice at any time nor seen his shape. So in the mouth of two witnesses, every word may be established. So the testimony of himself that he gives and the testimony of his Father. So he knows where he comes from. And the Father testifies that he is the coming one, the Messiah, that his testimony is true. So he not come to do his own will, but the will of his Father, the human will that he had, but the will of the Father be obedient unto death. The Pharisees therefore said unto John 8:13-19, and the Pharisees therefore said unto them, Thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true. Jesus answered said unto him, Though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came, whither I go, but you cannot tell whence I came, and whither I go. Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. Yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. So they both judge, and they both bear witness, testimony. It is written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. So in the mouth of two witnesses, every word may be established. I am one that bear witness of myself, and the Father that sent me bear witness of me. I said unto him, Where is thy? And then they said unto him, Where is thy Father? And Jesus answered, Ye neither know me nor my Father. If ye have known me, ye should have known my Father also. So he speaks the words of testimony. So he was greater in his divine glorious status because he was found as a human. He was made a little lower than angels temporarily so he could taste death for every man, so he could destroy the works of the devil, that is sin. So that's what he says greater than that. Not that he's greater, that he's inferior being to him, but in his humanity, his human nature, yes, he's less glorious than the Father, but nevertheless his divine nature is not. So it doesn't mean that he's not God. It's just in what way? In what way is greater than that? Because he's human. Yes, he has Father, he has a God because he is a human. He's the literal son. But at the same time, doesn't mean he's not God. He spoke as the Son of Man and the Son of God. So I hope this helps you. That'll clear some things out of the way. And hope this sparks a drive to search out further than I have. So hope this helps you. Thank you and take care.